So in this video, we're going to look at identifying intercepts and graphing linear equations. So a linear equation is going to create a straight line when you graph it. And there's more than one way to graph a linear equation. In this video, we're going to look at how we can sketch it quickly using the x and y intercepts. So first thing we got to look at is, well, what is an intercept? So an x-intercept is the point where the graph crosses the x-axis. So if I have a coordinate plane and I have a y-axis and an x-axis, it would look like this. So this is the x, this is the y. Well, an x-intercept would be where it crosses the x-axis. So if this was my graph, this would be the x-intercept, because that is where it crosses the x-axis. Okay? This would be the y-intercept, because that's where it crosses the y-axis. To find each of these, you're going to set the opposite value equal to 0. So to find the x-intercept, you're going to set the y equal to 0, because if you look at where it is, if it falls on this axis, the y value would be 0 because it didn't go up or down any. Same thing with the y-intercept. The x value is 0 because it didn't move left or right any. If you're going to graph using intercepts, the first step is going to be to find the x-intercept by plugging in 0 for y. Find the y-intercept by plugging in 0 for x. Then you're going to plot both of those points on the coordinate plane, and then just connect them by drawing a line through those 2 points. Okay, just some kind of helpful tips. If your equation's not in slope-intercept form, it's okay. You can still find the intercepts by substitution. Make sure when you plot your points that you're plotting them carefully and clearly. And then always draw your line extending through the points. Always arrows on both sides, because we know that line's going to continue moving. All right, so let's look at how to find the intercepts. So if we look at example 1, okay, we want to find the intercepts. We want to find the x and the y-intercepts. So let's look at the x-intercept first. To find the x-intercept, that's when your y equals 0, because it's when it crosses the x-axis. So to do that, I'm going to plug in a 0 for my y. Everything else stays the same. Well, when I plug in a 0 for my y, well, 5 times 0 is just 0. And so I end up with negative x equals negative 5, because this value here, that's 0, and it's going to go away. And so then x equals positive 5, because you can divide by negative 1. And so my x-intercept is 5, and the y value is 0, and that would be the ordered pair. If we do the same thing for the y-intercept, in the y-intercept, the x value is 0. And so I'm going to do the same process, except for this time I'm going to put a 0 in place of x, and we're going to solve for y. So again, negative 0 is still just 0. And so I just have 5y equals negative 5. And if I solve that by dividing by 5, y equals negative 1. And so as an ordered pair, the x is 0 and the y is negative 1. Example 2, we do the same process. So if I start with the x-intercept, again, that means that the y is equal to 0 every time. So I've got 3x minus 18 times 0 equals 18. So again, this is just going to be 0, because anything times 0 is 0. So 3x minus 0 goes away, equals 18. divide by 3, x equals 6. And then we always want to write these as an ordered pair so that we make sure we understand that the 6 is an x value and your y is 0. Okay. Highlight. Okay. And then if we do the same thing for the y-intercept, that means our x is 0. So 3 times 0 minus 18y equals 18. Again, 3 times 0 is just going to be 0. Be careful with your signs, so don't forget to bring down that negative. So negative 18y equals 18. Divide by negative 18, and y is equal to negative 1. Our x value is 0. Our y value is negative 1, and that would be our ordered pair. Okay, example 3. So we've got x-intercept, y is equal to 0. So negative 4x minus 0 equals negative 12. Again, this goes away. So negative 4x equals negative 12. Divide by negative 4, and x equals 3. So as an ordered pair, that would be 3, 0. Then if we look at the y-intercept, x equals 0. So if we substitute that, we get negative 4 times 0 minus y equals negative 12. And then this 0, negative 4 times 0 is 0. So again, be careful with those signs. Don't forget that's a negative y we have to bring down. And so negative y equals negative 12. Divide by negative 1, and so y is equal to 12. As an ordered pair, we've got 0, 12. So now that we've looked at how to find the x-intercepts and y-intercepts, let's look at how to do that and graph it. So let's add one more step. So example 4, same idea, okay? We're going to solve for the x and y-intercepts, but then we're also going to graph them. So x-intercept, again, remember that's when y is equal to 0. So I'm going to plug in my y is 0, so 8 times 0 equals 12x minus 32. All right, so that's 0 equals 12x minus 32. Solve for x, I'm going to add 32 to the other side. So positive 32 equals 12x. Divide by 12, and x equals 2.67. Okay, that means as an ordered pair, we've got 2.67, 0, because my y value is going to be 0. Then we're going to do the same thing for the y-intercept. That is when x is equal to 0. So I've got 8y equals 12 times 0 minus 32. Let me rewrite that on another line. Don't quite have enough room, so let's try that again. So 8y equals 12 times 0 minus 32. So 12 times 0, that's 0. So 8y equals 0 minus 32 is negative 32. I'm going to divide by 8. So y equals negative 4. As an ordered pair, that's 0, negative 4. And so now that I've got these intercepts, I'm going to come and I'm going to graph them. So 2.67, 0 is going to be between 2 and 3 on the x-axis. So it's about right there. And then 0, negative 4, that's my y-intercept. So that's going to be right there. So I've got these two intercepts. Those are the 2 points I'm going to use, and then I can just connect to make my line. And remember, that's not the only way to graph it. It's just one more way to graph. All right, let's look here. Okay, again, the x-intercept. We're going to plug in 0 for y. And we're going to solve for x. I'm going to add 6. And then I'm going to divide by 3. So x equals 2. So as an ordered pair, we've got 2, 0. For the y-intercept, that's when x is equal to 0. So y equals 3 times 0 minus 6. So y equals 3 times 0 is 0. 0 minus 6 is negative 6. So that's 0, negative 6. That one was a little shorter. And now I'm going to plot those points. So I've got 2, 0 on my x-axis. And then I've got 0, negative 6 on my y-axis. And then I'm going to connect those. And I've got my line.